In this video, we're going to talk about how athletes can have perfect running form and some of the common mistakes that athletes will make with their running form. How this video is going to go is we're going to explain a running form mistake that athletes will make. We're going to talk about how you can correct the mistake and then give you a drill to work on that specific skill. Now, before we get into this drill, you guys, if you would like a 4-week daily gym workout schedule that you can do to get faster, check out that very first link in the description below. We give you over 75 plus gym exercises over a 4-week space. Monday you're doing this, Tuesday you're doing that. We give you the exact sets and reps and a video example of each gym exercise to do. So check out that very first link in the description below if you would like to improve your speed with those daily gym exercises. Let's get back to this video. Now, one of the common mistakes that athletes will make when running is they have improper foot strike. So what do I mean by that? It's like when you're running a sprint, you're trying to go fast, a lot of athletes strike the ground very flat-footed. A lot of athletes are just naturally very flat-footed individuals. So when they run, they will strike the ground on their heel, and they're almost like doing butt kickers when they run simply because they have improper foot strike and they don't have an explosive foot strike. So what do I mean by that? When you strike the ground, the most powerful and most explosive position is going to be the ball of your foot. Because when you strike the ground on the ball of your foot, you can shoot and push up and snatch your opposite knee up in the air, keep your ankle flexed, and keep your strides out in front of you due to having correct foot strike. We never want my strides to be behind me. I always want to cycle in front of me and maintaining that proper foot strike on the ball of your foot. So like I said, we're going to give you a drill to work on that foot strike, but having bad foot strike is one of the main things that will limit an athlete's speed. So this drill to work on your foot strike for athletes to improve their speed is called a straight-legged run. So a straight-legged run is something you need 2 cones, I would say, or just use like a 5 to 7 yard space. You don't want to go any further than that because it's important that we are focused on being explosive and getting as many repetitions as we can in a short amount of space. So a straight-legged run is exactly how it sounds. You are not going to be bending your knees, and all you're going to do is you're going to just simply move your hands, move your feet, and run to the next cone, trying to get as many reps in as you can. Now, why do we do this? How does this help with foot strike? Because you physically cannot do this drill if you are on your heels and you're striking the ground flat-footed. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. But if you stay on the ball of your feet, stay on your toes, you could actually kick your feet out wide and actually get some kind of movement on this straight-legged run drill. So I recommend doing maybe about 3 to 4 sets of this 5 to 7 yard space. I'm going to show you how this is going to look full speed. So this drill is going to be great to make sure that you have proper arm swings with your running form. So what you're going to do is you're going to kneel down simply, just like 90-degree angle. I recommend putting a pad underneath the knee that is down, just so it doesn't, especially if you're on like a hard surface, it doesn't bother your knee and it doesn't hurt your knee, because you're going to see why in a second. So remember, like we said, we don't want to flatten out at my elbows. We want to let my shoulders rip me. I want my arm to stay at a 90-degree angle right past my pockets, right up to my cheek. So on this drill, what you're going to do for a 12 to 15 second timer, you don't want to go any longer than 15 seconds, any shorter than 12 seconds, somewhere in that range. What you're going to do is you're going to start out slow, timer's going to start, and you're going to go all out from this shoulder run position, this 90-degree right past my pockets, right up to my cheek. And when you do that, your knee is going to slightly bounce off of the ground. That means that you're doing the drill properly and you have proper arm swings. Now, if I'm doing this and I'm flattening out at my elbow, notice how my knee doesn't bounce up and down. But if I'm swinging at my shoulders, my knee is going to bounce up and down, and that's how I know I am doing this correctly. So you want to do about 3 to 4 sets of that 12 to 15 second timer. I'm going to show you how this is going to look full speed. So 50% of your running form is going to come down to your arm swings, right? And so this is one of the biggest mistakes that athletes will make, is that when they run, their arms will start to flatten out as they go back, and that prevents them from having any type of drive, any type of explosion and power with their upper body, which, like I said, is 50% of your running mechanics and your running form is the upper body. So what you want to do is you want to try to keep your arms at a 90-degree angle the best you can. And you guys have probably seen those like big clocks that have the hand that swings back and forth. That's how you want to think of your shoulders. As an athlete, when we generate our speed, it doesn't come from my elbows, it comes from my shoulders. I want to go right past my pockets, right up to my cheek, using my shoulders swinging at this 90-degree angle. So like we said, we're going to give you a great drill to work on that specific skill, but make sure as an athlete when we are running, we're not letting my arms flatten out, we're not having my arms go across, we're at 90 degrees, right past my pocket, right up to my cheek. The next mistake that I would like to go over for athletes who are on the slower side of things is their legs not cycling in front of them. So what do I mean? We kind of briefly touched on that when we were talking about foot strike, but when I go to run, you don't want to almost think of it like your legs are trailing behind you. That's what so many like athletes, football players struggle with, is that when they strike the ground, their feet are almost landing behind them. Now, not only is that going to make you slower, but that puts you in a less explosive position. Whenever you run, you want your feet to cycle in front of you. You want to strike the ground essentially slightly in front of you or right underneath you so you could drive off that ball of your foot and snatch your knee and snatch your toe up. And obviously, that is going to help with stride length, right? Stride length is one of the most important things when it comes down to speed. You do not want to have these short, choppy strides where everything is behind you. You want to drive your knee up, drive your toe up, and almost essentially reach with your strides. You don't want to actually reach because you don't want to land outside your frame, because that will also kind of limit your speed and explosiveness. You want to be just pretty much just straight underneath you. You do not want to be trailing behind you. So this next drill is going to work on athletes developing that habit and having a perfect stride length. So this drill to work on your guys' stride length and to work on you cycling in front of you, not having your legs trail behind you, is going to be called a double A skip, or you might think of this as like a single leg A skip. So what you're going to do is you need probably about a 5 to 10 yard space. I don't recommend going any closer than 5 yards or any longer than 10 yards. But what you're essentially going to do, I'm sure all of you have seen the track warm up before called an A skip, and we're obviously going to show this full speed in a second, but an A skip is just a simple, just like a normal skip, but you're snatching your knee up and snatching your toe up, right? So I'm here, here, but what we are going to be doing to work on that cycle, staying in front of me, not trailing behind me, and having that good 90-degree leg stride is going to be a double A skip. So what you're doing is you're just going to isolate one leg and you're going to go hop, hop, switch, hop, hop, switch. And I'm going to show you how this will look full speed. It's easier to show full speed because a lot of this is about having a rhythm. But like I said, you want to do maybe about 4 to 5 sets of this in that 5 to 10 yard rep range to work on cycling in front of you and working on your stride length. Now, before we get into the full speed example of this drill, you guys, as athletes, we are constantly working out. We are constantly training on the field. So our muscles and our body get worn down. And if you don't take your recovery seriously as an athlete, you are never going to put on muscle mass or gain any type of speed, strength, size in the gym. So you guys need to be consuming a daily amount of, I would suggest, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, if you're 160, 170 pounds, that might seem like it's a hard thing to do, as that's a lot of protein per day. So you need to make sure that you are supplementing in some type of protein shake or protein powders. So I started a supplement company called A&G Labs with my brother, and we developed a protein powder specifically for athletes that is going to be very easy on the stomach, easy to digest, and it will help you get your daily protein consumption in. So if you use the promo code FIRST15 and check out the second link in the description below, you can get 15% off our new salted caramel whey protein. We also have chocolate, we also have vanilla, and we're going to be coming out with plenty more flavors for you guys. So again, use the promo code FIRST15, all one word, 15% off if you need a good protein powder to help your body recover this off season.